have a very, very tender spot for this movie. It's very hard to look like you're having a fun time when you're like,
Imagine stepping into a dimly lit theater in 1987, the air buzzing with excitement as the screen lights up with a story that feels like summer in a bottle. Sweaty dances, forbidden romance, and that one lift that makes your heart skip. Dirty Dancing wasn't just a movie, it was a fever dream of youth and rebellion that grabbed hold of us and never let go. Patrick Swayze as the brooding Johnny Castle, Jennifer Grey as the wide-eyed baby Houseman. They weren't just actors, they became our crushes, our what-ifs. But here's the twist that still chills me. This timeless classic, the one that had us practicing lifts in our living rooms, almost never saw the light of day. And buried in its glittering scenes are hidden moments, unscripted sparks of magic and mess that no one noticed at first. What if I told you the giggles in that famous practice montage weren't planned? Or that the leads could barely stand each other off camera? Pull up a chair because we're peeling back the curtain on Dirty Dancing's secrets. The unnoticed bits that make you see the whole story in a new light. You won't believe what really happened behind those iconic steps. Let's start at the very beginning, because even the name of this movie was a battleground. Picture this, a script born from screenwriter Eleanor Bergstein's own wild memories of summer resorts and secret dances in the Catskills. She poured her heart into it, dreaming of a tale about a girl finding her fire on the dance floor. But when it came time to slap a title on it, oh boy, the sparks flew. Dirty Dancing sounded edgy, raw, like the sweat and sway of bodies moving too close under the stars. Back in the 80s, though, words like that raised eyebrows. Producers worried it screamed scandal, like something straight out of an adult film section. Censors at the Canadian border even held up the daily footage, convinced it was X-rated contraband. Can you imagine? The very title that now feels like a badge of cool rebellion almost got the whole project yanked before it even started. Patrick Swayze, our forever Johnny, wasn't thrilled either. In a chat with a reporter back in '87, he spilled his guts. He hated the name. It felt too gritty, too in your face for the tender love story at the core. He pushed hard for something softer, but the studio dug in their heels. They loved the buzz it created, the way it hinted at forbidden fun without giving too much away. And thank goodness they stuck to it, because alternatives like I Was a Teenage Mambo Queen sound more like a cheesy teen comedy than the soul-stirring romance we got. That title fight wasn't just petty squabbling. It was a glimpse into how fragile this dream was. One wrong word, and poof, gone. But they held on, and that grit in the name mirrored the grit it took to make the movie happen. It's a reminder that the things we love most often come from the messiest fights. Now, let's talk about the hearts of the story, who almost wore Baby's headband and Johnny's leather pants. Casting calls are like lotteries in Hollywood, full of near misses that could rewrite history. For Johnny, the bad boy dancer with eyes that could melt steel, names like Billy Zane, Benicio del Toro, and Val Kilmer floated around. Billy Zane even stepped in at first, strutting his stuff opposite Jennifer during early shoots. But something was off. The producers watched, held their breath, and realized no spark, no fire. It was like pairing peanut butter with pickles. Technically possible, but who wants that? They needed someone who could dance like the wind and act like he had a secret heartbreak. Enter Patrick Swayze, fresh from ballet schools like Harkness and Joffrey, where he'd honed moves that made him look effortless. But even he wasn't a slam dunk. The director, Emil Ardolino, insisted on real dancers who could act. No body doubles, no faking it. Patrick fit, but his road there was bumpy, shadowed by an old injury we'll get to later. Still, when he locked eyes with Jennifer in that chemistry test, magic flickered. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. The kind of pull that tugs at your chest. Baby's role was no less dramatic. Sarah Jessica Parker and Winona Ryder, fresh-faced stars on the rise, auditioned for the girl who wouldn't stay in the corner. But Jennifer Grey? She was terrified. She danced a bit in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but nothing like this. And teaming up with Patrick again, they'd clashed before on Red Dawn in '84, where their styles butted heads like stubborn rams. Jennifer was emotional, diving deep into feelings. Patrick was fearless, charging ahead. In a 2016 interview, she laughed about it, saying his boldness crashed against her caution like waves on rocks. A marriage of opposites. She got paid a humble $50,000 for the gig, a drop into he bucket compared to the fortune the movie would rake in. But fear or no, when she stepped into Baby's sneakers, something clicked. That vulnerability? It wasn't acting. It was her, raw and real, making us root for the girl who trips but always gets back up. Those early days on set were a powder keg of emotions. Patrick spilled in his 2009 memoir, The Time of My Life, how Jennifer could burst into tears over a critique or dissolve into giggles mid-take, forcing endless reshoots. It drove him nuts, that push-pull of her heart-on-sleeve style against his go-getter grit. The crew walked on eggshells, stitching together their differences like a patchwork quilt. But here's the beautiful irony. That friction fueled the fire on screen. Johnny's intensity, Baby's hesitation, it all felt alive because it echoed their real-life tango. Without those clashes, would we have believed their love story? Probably not. It's like how storms make rainbows brighter. Their off-screen storm birthed on-screen lightning. And speaking of lightning strikes, let's uncover those unscripted gems, the moments that slipped into the film like happy accidents, the ones fans quote without knowing they were born from chaos. Take the Mambo practice montage, that bubbly sequence where Johnny trails his fingers down Baby's arm and she erupts in ticklish giggles while he fumes. Heartwarming, right? Turns out it was 100% real. Jennifer was genuinely ticklish. Couldn't help the laughs bubbling out like soda fizz. Patrick, his frustration wasn't scripted either. He was steaming mad at the delays. The producer, Linda Gottlieb, later confessed they almost tossed the footage, reshooting a proper version where Jennifer stayed stone-faced, but in the editing room, their dance whiz spotted it and hit play. The room exploded in laughter. Crew, stars, everyone. Even Patrick and Jennifer cracked up when they saw it for the first time, like rediscovering a forgotten photo. They kept it, and bam! One of the movie's most quoted, most replayed scenes was a fluke. It's the kind of magic that makes you tear up, knowing joy sneaks in when you least expect it. Then there's the Love is Strange dance, that sway and grin moment to Mickey Sylvia's sultry tune. Pure romance, the kind that makes you sigh and slow dance in your kitchen. But guess what? The cameras were still rolling during rehearsal. The actors had no clue. They were just goofing off, letting the music pull them into a private whirl. Director Emil caught it all. The unguarded smiles, the easy touches, and wove it right in. No lines, No marks, just two people connecting in a bubble of sound. It's these slices of real that make Dirty Dancing feel like a memory you half own. Amid the scripted sweeps and spins, these hidden breaths remind us the best stories aren't planned, they're lived. But oh, the set wasn't all giggles and stolen dances. Filming Dirty Dancing was a sweat-soaked endurance test, starting September 5, 1986 and wrapping in just 43 days. On screen, Kellerman's resort glows with lazy summer haze, but reality? A brutal scorch fest. Outside, temps hit 105 degrees, turning the air thick as soup. Inside, with the lights and cameras blazing, it spiked to 120 degrees, like stepping into an oven. Choreographer Kenny Ortega later shared how on one killer day, 10 crew members fainted in 25 minutes flat. Veteran actress Paula Truman, playing the feisty Mrs. Schumacher, collapsed from dehydratio and needed an ER dash. It was chaos, bodies dropping like dominoes. But no one hit pause. That grit seeped into every frame, making the joy feel earned. The lake lift? Iconic doesn't cover it. That moment when Johnny hoists baby skyward, water sparkling like diamonds. But filming it? Pure torture. They saved it for last, hoping to nail the climax, but the lake in October was a frigid 40 degrees. Jennifer later called it horrifically cold, her teeth chattering through smiles. Patrick, ever the trooper, described it as hypothermically cold, reshooting take after take while his body screamed. In her 2022 memoir, Out of the Corner, Jennifer gets misty-eyed about it. What you see between us was real. Gratitude, respect, care. If that's not love, what is? Those words hit hard, don't they? In the freezing grip of that water, two hurting souls found warmth in each other. It's the emotional core of the film, born from shivers and shared resolve. To keep the summer illusion alive while shooting in fall, the crew turned magicians. Leaves and grass, spray-painted green like kids hiding Easter eggs. Extras shivered in swimsuits, breath fogging the air, but the camera lied beautifully. That fake-out heat mirrored the movie's theme. Appearances deceive, but truth dances free. Patrick's own battles added layers to the pain. His knee, wrecked from teen football, and a near-amputation staph infection ground bone on bone. Lifting Jennifer in water felt like hoisting 500 pounds. He fell off logs during balance scenes, swelling so bad they drained fluid on set. Yet he hid it all, his face a mask of cool command. In his memoir, he calls surviving that injury miraculous, a teen pivot from sports to dance that led him here. Viewers saw grace. We now know the grind behind it. Patrick's whisper of pain makes Johnny's every step a quiet triumph. And the chemistry? On screen, it's electric. Sparks that light up the dark. Off-screen, a storm cloud. This wasn't their first rodeo. Red Dawn in '84 sowed the seeds of strife. Producers hesitated to pair them again. Whispers of clashing styles echoing. Jennifer, the emotional diver. Patrick, the fearless charger. They argued before takes, her tears or giggles derailing days. Kenny Ortega, the choreo wizard, called them human fireworks. Conflict one minute, magic the next. To fix it, they rewatched their chemistry test, that golden audition where opposites clicked. It worked. The tension simmered into something watchable. Jennifer told The Hollywood Reporter it was like a marriage of opposites, his daring pulling her fears into the light. That raw edge, it deepened Baby and Johnny, making their arc, from clash to clasp, feel achingly true. Without the friction, would we ache for their kiss? Doubt it. Their mess made our hearts mend. Jennifer's post-dancing journey tugs at the soul. Ferris Bueller, in '86, had her stealing scenes as the sassy sister. Then came Baby, catapulting her to stardom. Nobody puts Baby in a corner. Those words became her anthem, our rally cry. But shadows loomed. A car crash before the premiere killed two, injured her love, Matthew Broderick. Trauma like that doesn't fade, it simmers. Then, in the early 90s, she chased perfection with rhinoplasty. What she hoped would polish her glow instead shattered it. Complications forced a fix-up. But the change, drastic. Friends blinked twice. She barely recognized her mirror. In Out of the Corner, she bears it all. It was like a disfiguring accident. I became more conventionally pretty, but it destroyed what I built. Fans mourned the quirky nose that made Baby's freckles pop. Some called her new look boring, lost in Hollywood's sea of sameness. She toyed with vanishing. New name, fresh start, but chose to fight. That choice, her quiet rebellion. Today, at 64, she's resilient, memoir in hand, proving scars forge strength. Dirty Dancing gave her wings. This clipped them, but she learned to soar grounded. Even with stars aligned, faith in the film flickered low. Budget? A skimpy $6 million. Script? Rejected 43 times. A bruised ego on paper. Vestron, a video upstart, gambled when giants passed. Filming ended October 27, 1986, on time, under budget. But the rough cut? A dud. Test audiences missed the abortion subplot. 39% blanked on it. Producer Aaron Russo growled to burn the negative and cash the insurance. Marketing crumbled. Clearasil bolted over the plot, leaving promo scraps. Release? Slated for a quick weekend theatrical hop to VHS. Eleanor Bergstein remembers the venom. Negligible junk, they sneered. Yet August 21st, 1987 changed everything. It exploded, $214 million worldwide. Oscar for I've Had the Time of My Life. From reject pile to cultural quake, it whispered, underdogs dance loudest. That improbable win. It's why we re-watch. Tears and toes tapping. So why no sequel till now? Fans begged, but Patrick nixed ideas. The ending was perfect, he said. No need to tarnish. His widow, Lisa Nemi Swayze, echoes that, guarding his legacy. But in 2020, E! News dropped the bomb. Jennifer Grey, back as Baby, executive producing a fresh spin. Plot hush-hush, but she'll revisit Kellerman's in the 90s, weaving her tale with a new young couple's romance. Strike delays pushed it to summer 2025. But original cast nods are coming, honoring Patrick without recast. Lionsgate chatted with his estate for meaningful ties. Jennifer's pumped. What happens 30 years later? Fans split. Some cry leave it be, fearing it'll dim the original's glow. Others buzz for more lifts and longing. Me? I'll watch, heart hopeful, because stories evolve just like us. Patrick's knee saga seals the emotional punch. He nearly passed on Johnny. Resume screamed, no dancing to baby that old wound. Football in high school wrecked it. Dance healed. Then a staff scare at 24 nearly cost the leg. Miraculous, he called, surviving. A decade on, Dirty Dancing ground it raw. Cartilage gone, bones gnashing. Lifts, agony amplified by water's drag. Falls off logs, swells drained in mid-shoot. But his face, serene steel. That hidden hurt makes every twirl a hero's quiet roar. He wasn't just dancing, he was defying. Patrick's grace amid grind, it's the film's unspoken heartbeat, reminding us true stars shine through storms. Phew, what a ride through Dirty Dancing's hidden heart. Title tussles, casting close calls, unscripted laughs in the lift's chill, chemistry born of clash, Jennifer's brave reinvention, the faith-famished start, sequel sparks, Patrick's pained perfection. This isn't just a movie, it's a mosaic of mishaps and miracles, a love letter to messing up and making magic. 37 years later, it still sways us because those unnoticed cracks let the light in. The giggles that weren't scripted, they echo our own awkward joys, the cold lake lifts, our shivers toward connection. Which secret hit you hardest, the ticklish truth or Patrick's hidden fight? Drop it in the comments. I read every one. And hey, if this unearthed feels for you, smash that like button to keep the dance alive. Share with a friend who needs a 80s escape and subscribe for more peeks behind the silver screen. Nobody puts these stories in a corner. Let's keep them spinning. Thanks for joining the sway. See you next time.